Good evening, I'm Katerina Georgieva. This is CBC Windsor News. Thanks for watching. Tonight, the latest on the snow, wicked winds, and icy roads. Plus, grief during the holidays. One couple shares their story, and we'll tell you how to access support if you need it. For 3 Christmases, a church without a permanent home. Local parishioners talk about the emotional journey to rebuild after a fire. And 2 Ontario moms are opening up about their special bond after a surrogate pregnancy. We'll have their story tonight. We begin this evening with the winter storm that swept our region. Experts say that right now we are in the midst of the worst of it. Driving continues to be dangerous with just a couple days to Christmas. For the very latest, we're joined live now by the CBC's Jason Vio. Jason, a lot of holiday plans are up in the air right now for folks because of this storm, and we're hearing reports of stranded motorists. So what's going on out there?
That's right. So for some people stranded in the Chatham-Kent area because of the crashes and closures along Highway 401, they'll be spending the night sheltering in arenas in Ridgetown and the Tilbury area. The municipality of Chatham-Kent just making that announcement within the last hour or so. So the situation is certainly very live. It's developing as this storm is as well. That's why officials are urging people to stay home and off the roads if they can and kind of wait this storm out. Now, this afternoon, Environment Canada issued a blizzard warning for Windsor-Essex and Chatham-Kent. You may see or feel wind gusts up to 100 kilometers per hour. Also, right now in Chatham-Kent, Highway 401 is closed in both directions at Communications Road. That's because of a multi-vehicle crash from this morning, so several hours, and it's still not open. The OPP says that will remain shut down for an undetermined amount of time.
Right now in southwestern Ontario, between Tilbury and Colonel Talbot out towards London, we have multiple vehicles, reports of up to 100 vehicles involved in multiple collisions, and Highway 401 is shut down in both directions in that area.
Now, to give you some perspective, Kat, on how bad conditions are in Chatham-Kent, the municipality also had to pull some of its snow plows off of the road because of near zero visibility conditions.
So, Jason, the advice is to stay off the roads for now, but when can people resume their travel plans for the holiday long weekend?
Well, Environment Canada says conditions should start to improve. You can feel the wind gusts there, start to improve by tomorrow afternoon. But they say what is really recommended, or what is best, is if you wait to travel until Sunday, which is Christmas Day. And by then, they say the conditions should be okay.
We're seeing reports of visibilities as low as 1/8 of a statute mile. That's about 100 to 200 meters. So extremely difficult visibility conditions on the roads. There's been a lot of collisions reported, lots of road closures reported. It's treacherous roads.
Now, as far as city snow plowing goes here in Windsor, officials say salt is not very effective right now because it's so cold. So they're focusing on plowing the snow, but the city says it's extremely challenging because of the wind. Now, as of right now, we didn't get enough of the white stuff for plows to hit the side streets, but that may change over the weekend. But again, officials across the board are recommending people stay home and certainly off the roads.
Thanks for braving the elements to bring us this story, Jason. CBC's Jason Vio live tonight. Christmas is a time of joy for many, but the holidays can also be a painful reminder of loved ones no longer with us. One couple is sharing their story of grief as a reminder to all to be kind and understanding this time of year.
So we decided to honor them with that. Well, this here is a red truck, and my father really liked his trucks. And the knitting needles here is because my mom, she was really well known in the arts and crafts community.
A personalized wreath for the gravesite of beloved parents Gilbert and Shirley. Ron Phoebe and his wife Dee say this time of year is especially difficult. Ron's dad, Gilbert, passed away in 2019. His mom, Shirley, in January from cancer. They found out just before last Christmas. This year is the first holiday without her.
It's hard in the sense that you're not going to hear their voices. You're not going to get the goofy phone calls, the getting together and sharing of a meal.
Dee lost her own mom years ago, but the grief doesn't go away.
I kind of feel like you've been orphaned. Truth be told, I mean, it's how you feel because they're not there anymore.
Sometimes you just have to sit down and have your ugly cry and get it out of your system, and then you're okay for a little while.
Yeah, you cry and you laugh together and hug each other and share our memories together of our parents and things we used to do.
During the month of December, while there's a lot of festivities and there's the bright lights and everything, a lot of people are walking through things that are really traumatic, very hurtful. And if there's one thing that I could say to anybody, is to just be kind. You don't know what someone's going through.
At CMHA, there's an understanding that losses are often felt even more intensely during the holidays. They encourage families to continue to talk about their loved ones.
We welcome anyone to participate in our seminars, our groups, when they're struggling, even without any type of recognized, say, diagnosis or, complicated grief. We have availability that we want people to feel that support and normalization.
For Ron and Dee, they're going to make the most of this holiday while leaning on one another for support. How does it feel looking at the wreath today, knowing that this is how you're honoring them at Christmas?
It brings me a lot of comfort knowing that they see it. I know they see it.
And if you are grieving, you can access bereavement supports at CMHA. Just call the Coordinated Access Team at 519-973-4435 or 519-255-7440, extension 249. For a few days, a Kingsville cancer survivor thought she had cancer once again, but she says it was all due to a typo created by speech-to-text software. She received a report from an X-ray taken at Erie Shores Health that she had metastatic bone cancer. The woman is speaking out about the mistake and wants to see something done to make sure this doesn't happen again.
I did file a complaint with the complaints department, and not much was said. So they apologized. But said this is the technology that they use, and I don't really have any, they didn't give me any suggestions or things that they're going to change or how they would follow up exactly. So I don't really know what will be next. Personally, I would just like to make sure that no one else goes through this. Make sure that not everyone has a good support system, and I would hate for someone to receive a diagnosis days before Christmas and not feel like they can handle it. So I think that is definitely problematic and it needs to be fixed in some way.
Erie Shores Healthcare sent a statement to CBC stating they cannot talk about individual cases, but they say the speech-to-text software is used in leading hospitals across North America. They also say the tool comes with a disclaimer saying that patients should contact a consulting physician should they have any concerns. For more on the story, you can visit our website, cbc.ca/Windsor. It is an emotional time for a local church congregation with Christmas just 2 days away. 3 years ago, a fire destroyed the Walkerville Evangelical Baptist Church. Reconstruction still isn't finished. And as the CBC's Jason Vio tells us, the road to rebuild is very personal for one family in particular.
A lot more light.
Walking through this new church is bringing flashbacks of old memories. Right outside of these windows, the Walkerville Evangelical Baptist Church held its first Sunday service after the blaze on the grass. Now the sound of construction fills the air just outside of the nearly finished building. For Miriam Suryawan, this is her first time back inside, saying she feels overwhelmed.
All the emotions and the excitement is just all coming back, but also a little bit of sadness because just from what our church used to be, a lot of mixed emotions.
At the time, the church fire was devastating for her, on top of a very personal loss she was experiencing.
The week of the fire, my husband and I had a miscarriage, and we struggled through fertility, and it's kind of coming all full circle.
Since then, Suryawan and her husband say they've been blessed with 10-month-old triplet girls.
To raise our family where we had met, and it's just such a beautiful thing to be able to to give our children and to bless our children with a home, a church home that is finally come together.
This church had been standing for 107 years. Then on October 27, 2019, that changed forever. A fire, later ruled accidental, gutted the building.
It was all gone, and I lost my Bible, my 39-year-old Bible, but, God's going to teach me new things from a new Bible.
Today, touring the church, the pastor says the building may be smaller, but his church congregation is closer than ever, and memories still shine through in photos like these.
Truthfully, it's just a building. The church, we are the building. This is just mortar and brick.
By February, they hope to be holding Sunday services inside there once again.
We're counting down the days. My husband and I can't wait to take our daughters here.
Until then, they're using another church and coming together in song and prayer like this will feel more like home once they're back inside. Jason Vio, CBC News, Windsor.
2.5 years after Toronto woman Karen Scott first started looking for a surrogate mom, she's now grateful for her toddler and the lifelong friendship formed with the Sarnia area woman who carried her. This is their story.
Where's it go? Good girl, you're so right. Her full name is Molly Cindy Clemens.
The toddler's middle name an homage to the woman who carried her for 9 months, Cindy Gilbank. Scott had one child already, but after the traumatic stillbirth of her second, she was unable to carry again. So she made a Facebook post in search of a surrogate.
There was somewhere like between 800 and 1,000 shares, and the only recognizable name was somebody named John Gilbank, who said, "Hey Karen, message me, my wife's always wanted to do this." So I did.
John Gilbank knew Scott from university. He and his wife Cindy already have 4 kids, and she knew she wanted to help.
So my first 2 kids were actually singletons. So I had 2 boys first, and then I had twins. And my husband and I always decided that we were going to have 4 kids, but I missed out on a pregnancy, as weird as that may sound.
This helped fulfill that need. Over 9 months, the two became close. From doctor's visits to daily updates, a special friendship was born.
She is a very warm, mothering type person. So I think she knew that she wasn't just taking care of my baby and of course herself in that moment, but she was also taking care of me a little bit.
I particularly wanted a friendship of some sort with the family that I would have a child for. I want to see them grow up. Not that I want to raise that child, but I want to be a part of it, but at a distance. So that's what they've kind of offered us, and that's kind of what we took.
Molly was born on October 22nd, 2021, both women in the delivery room.
When she's old enough to understand, I'm going to explain to her what happened. I'm going to explain to her about her sister that didn't make it and how she ended up being grown in Cindy and what Cindy and John did for us and their whole family, really, because they all had to pitch in when she was sick and pregnant.
Now, Scott says Gilbank and her family feel like her own family, with occasional visits to stay connected.
I would definitely be, Karen's referred to me as an aunt before. Like, I would definitely be an aunt figure to Molly.
I mean, I hope they're close. I'm sure they will be.
They're both grateful for this lifelong bond and the sweet Molly that came out of it all.
For last-minute shoppers looking for an extra special gift, this story might be for you. A Tecumseh woman can turn breast milk into jewelry.
It gives moms something to hold on to. A lot of moms, when they're done their breast milk journey, they really feel lost without it. Like, it is such a commitment for them to put that much time and effort into nursing your baby and watching that baby grow. And then when they're done, this way they have something to remember that journey with.
McNorton also makes jewelry with cremated ashes and does casting of hands, feet, and paws. As for breast milk jewelry, it can be fresh, frozen, even spoiled. The process takes about a week, and she gave us a quick tutorial on how she turns milk into wearable fashion.
So this one here is one of my Vanessa rings. So the mom can either choose to put the breast milk in the circles or in the ovals. Or, like I said before, we could always do breast milk in the ovals, and then we could do birthstones in the circles and take out all the stones. But after I pop out the stones, that's what I fill with the resin and the breast milk. So after the breast milk has gone through its process, it needs to dry out. So this is one that's in the process of drying out. It's not quite there yet. And then after that, I crush it into a powder. So then the breast milk is mixed in with the resin. So the resin's just clear, and then I add the breast milk to it. And then I use my magnifying glass just because these rings are so dainty, and you want to make sure that the resin just gets into the oval part. And then it goes into the UV curer, and it will, I usually do just one at a time and cure them, and then take it out and do the other ones.
If you have young children, you've probably taken them to get a photo of Santa. Our newsroom team thought it would be kind of fun if we shared some of our own memorable snaps with the big man himself. So here we go. First off, that is Stacey Janzer. She's producing tonight's newscast. Jen LaGrassa there sitting on Santa's lap with her mom and brother. Chris Ensing with his Santa hat on. That's me, looking very pleased with myself. Jacob Barker, look at that curly hair. Samantha Craggs there, she's our exec with her brother. And Katie Fraser. I love that. I hadn't seen those photos, so I love that. Live look outside there. That blizzard warning is still in effect tonight. Dahlia Ashry will have more on the weather and when it's going to ease up after the break. Stay with us. A powerful storm is sweeping across large parts of Canada and the U.S. Extreme weather alerts are in place from coast to coast and as far south as Florida. Strong winds are downing power lines and causing blackouts. Thousands of flights have been suspended or canceled. A messy winter mix is causing travel chaos in BC, while people in the West are coping with extreme cold. Back here in Ontario, we are dealing with snow, freezing rain, and strong winds. As many as 100 vehicles have been involved in crashes on the highway near London, and conditions are similar in Quebec. High wind is also wreaking havoc in Atlantic Canada. So let's bring in Dalia Ashri now. Dalia, we've been following the story all day here locally, so bring us up to speed.
That's right, Katerina. I mean, really, we've been following it all week, and finally Snowmageddon has arrived. That's what I keep calling it today, because truthfully, that's what it is. Strong winds, that snow squall mixing in with the snow, giving us that blizzard in Windsor, and that will continue overnight tonight and into tomorrow as well. So really a white Christmas Eve tomorrow is what is expected. And then we have Christmas around the corner as well, which we'll get to in a bit. But first, let's talk about the temperatures today. The normal high is usually 0 degrees, and today it's 4 degrees, and the normal low is usually -6, and today's -17. So daytime high 4 degrees in Windsor, a little cooler in Barrie, for example, 1 degree. That's not factoring in the wind chill, of course. We factor in that wind chill, and in some areas it felt more like -23 today. The current temperature right now in Windsor, -17, and of course that will continue to dip and plummet tonight as the temperatures will start to get a little colder. Now, if we take a closer look here, of course we had that snowstorm warning that's been in effect, taking up most of the region. We're seeing winds gusting up to 80 kilometers an hour, power outages. If you didn't have to go outside today, please continue to stay indoors and make sure you have a safety kit available that has water on the side, but also the necessities and essentials that you need in case you don't have any power. Now, as we see here Friday tonight, it starts to clear up a little bit, but don't let that fool you, because it will pick up again. Overnight, we'll see more of that blizzard continuing, and that snow squall, the winds and snow as well, mixing and making for sleek roads, really, and that will continue to tomorrow morning as well. We head into Sunday, that starts to slowly clear up. We might get some flurries a little bit, but overall, it will clear up as we head into Monday. Now, what to expect in Windsor, we're seeing up to 5 to 10 centimeters of snow by Saturday afternoon, and then it could pick up a little bit more, up to 15 centimeters in Windsor throughout the weekend. And as we head into Monday, that will slowly start to hopefully melt away. Like I said, strong winds for tonight, up to 68 kilometers an hour, gusting even up to 75 overnight. And we'll see those strong winds continuing into tomorrow for all of the day, really. The snow squall will continue, that blizzard, those strong winds. And if you don't need to be out on the roads for those slick conditions, please stay indoors. Once again, emphasizing that this is supposed to say blizzard, not fog, but it really will look like a fog when everything mixes in. Tonight, temperatures will drop to -13. And again, what to expect for Christmas Eve, which is around the corner, temperatures will drop -6. We'll see some flurries as well. Katerina, it's a snowstorm. What can I say? Santa's on his way.
Thank you for that, Dalia. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
When we come back, as Dalia said, Christmas is around the corner, but today is all about Festivus. We'll hear some of your grievances after the break.
free.
For seafarers working on board large ships in Atlantic Canada, Christmas away from home can be challenging. But community members in Halifax are giving gifts to make the season brighter.
Usually in the Philippines, we have gather all of the family. But here, we just spend together with the crew.
I've had seafarers cry and just say, bless you, thank you so much. It's really a joyful thing to do.
The mission to seafarers has been filling these shoe boxes for decades. Inside, they have necessities for life on board the ships, with little treats thrown in to sweeten the deal. Volunteers have already packed more than 800 boxes, and they're still going. The donations come in from churches or local businesses, and then the boxes get brought onto the ships, and the captain hands them out on Christmas Day. And fans of Seinfeld may know today is the 25th anniversary of Festivus for the rest of us, so that means the day to air your grievances. Mike Evans went out into the cold and that furious wind to see what people wanted and needed to get off their chests.
Well, I'm pretty happy, but I think my grievance right now is the weather has waited for the couple days where everyone needs to travel to kind of throw everything at us.
Are you familiar with Festivus?
I'm very much familiar with Festivus.
What is that you're holding? Tell us.
I've got the Festivus pole. It's aluminum here. It's got a high weight to strength ratio, so strength ratio, yeah.
So how long have you had a Festivus pole?
Oh, well, I just found this one a couple minutes ago, actually, but I thought it'd be pretty appropriate to bring out.
That's great. And so part of Festivus is airing your grievances. So do you have any grievances for 2022?
My grievance is actually big snowstorms on Festivus that make it hard to get to work.
My grievances for 2022, actually my grievances for almost every year is the lack of kindness and awareness.
That's it. So is there something else, something that we can do to improve upon that in 2023?
Yeah, just take care of the person beside you.
That is it for CBC Windsor News. For the latest on the weather, go to cbc.ca/Windsor. CBC Windsor News at 6. We'll be taking a little bit of time off, but we will be back on Wednesday. And in the meantime, CBC Toronto will be airing at 6 with regional news. From all of us here at CBC Windsor, happy Festivus, Merry Christmas to those celebrating, and happy and safe holidays to all. Good night.